Back here, first things first, we're talking Brooklyn Nets now. It was supposed to be the big three last night. KD warmed up. He did not, however, suit up. So it was the big two. Then 4 minutes in, James Harden re-injured his hamstring and he was done for the night. Then it was the big one. But Kyrie was on a tear. They only needed 40 points in a win over the Knicks. Woo! Big night for Brooklyn. But how serious is Harden's injury? Here's head coach Steve Nash after the game.
It's just something where we have to protect him. We have to trust him. Very frustrating for James, but we can't risk it if we can afford not to. And so that depends on trust between us and James and making sure that he feels comfortable in the decision. And I thought tonight the right decision was to not take any risks with him. So, who knows? This may linger. It may be all behind us like we thought it was before the game, but it's just one of those things where the scan is clean, the strength tests are clean, but he feels something. So we're going to err on the side of caution.
The old lingering hamstring, hard to deal with. What do you think, Chris Broussard, joining us now? How concerning is Harden's hamstring injury?
Well, it's not time to hit the panic button, but it has to be concerning. When Kevin Durant went down with a hamstring injury, the Nets said it'd be 2 games. And it's been almost 8 weeks. And James Harden is an Iron Man. Over the last 8 years, only 3 players in the league have played more games than him. So for him to take himself out of a game, he's feeling something. I said last week, it would be virtually unprecedented if this Nets team wins the championship because of their lack of time together on the floor. And now that's been ratcheted up even more. Their degree of difficulty has gotten even higher. It's very possible, if not likely, that they may go into the playoffs with their big three having played about 15 games together. For them to win a championship that way, I know they're talented as all get out. I've picked them. But this is starting to be concerned because there is some importance to chemistry. And here's the thing about Harden. He is the most important one. They've got plenty of firepower without him. Kevin Durant, we know, is their best player historically. But neither Kevin Durant or Kyrie is a table setter. Kyrie's just a cold-blooded scorer, as we saw last night, 40 points. And whenever Harden and KD aren't there, he takes about 25 to 30 shots and puts in buckets. But they need a table setter. When you got that much talent, that many guys who are used to getting the ball, not just the stars, but the role players. And that's what Harden does for that team. He keeps everybody involved. They were 7-6. With KD and Kyrie before Harden got there. They're 1-3 without Harden since the trade. They're 27-7 with James Harden, and most of that without KD. So they gotta get healthy and get these guys on the court together if they want to win a championship.
Yeah, but the only thing they should be concerned about is the seeding in the East. Are they number 1 or are they number 2? They're battling with the Sixers right now. The other thing they should be concerned about is chemistry right now. And we keep talking about chemistry between the big three, but what about Landry Shamet? What about Blake Griffin they just brought him? What about LaMarcus Aldridge and Jeff Green? Those are the guys, Joe Harris. Those are the guys that this big three needs to play with because the big three, they've played pickup ball before. They've played on Team USA before. They got enough chemistry between them. James Harden and KD, they go back to Oklahoma together. So, yes, every year is different. The game has changed. Their games have evolved. They do need to play together. But at the end of the day, they know what the spots they need to be in. They know their roles. They figure that out early. And the last thing that needs to be a concern is the MVP chase for James Harden. James Harden came out a couple weeks ago and said, I am the MVP. And this whole thing that you guys keep talking about, well, the precedent and historical this and historical that, how many games dudes miss. So if he's going to miss games, that's the only thing should be concerned. But this hamstring, I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned with. Why? Because you heard what Coach Nash said. Coach Nash said the image is clean. So as a player, you get hurt. The very first thing you do after practice or after a game, they send you right to the imaging department. You go get an MRI, you go get x-rays, and they go see. I pulled my quad, I pulled my hamstring, and right away, boom, they were able to see, Brandon, this is a grade 2. You're going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. Going back to Miami game, Miami days playing, on Thursday night football, snapped my hamstring, saw it right away. And then we fast forward to 2018, popped my hamstring, saw it right away. So for the image to be clean, that's a really good thing. I don't know what the hell's going on in Brooklyn. I don't know if there's no clean water there and we're dehydrated. The body is made up of 70% water. Guys, y'all gotta hydrate. What is going on with these soft tissue injuries? And Nick, we know this. And my guys out there, I love you NBA basketball players, but here's the deal. You guys are softer than football players. So sometimes it takes them a little longer to get back to the court. A little long. Yeah, I'm not, no shots fired. We know that. Well, we know that. A hamstring for a football player maybe 2 weeks. Hamstring, there we go. There we go.
And listen, I agree that I wouldn't be worried about Harden's long-term health. But those other things you glossed over about how you're going to work out the rotation and who's going to have what role. Luckily, what the Nets have is veteran, proven, established championship head coach Steve Nash to figure all that out under the most scrutinized playoff run we've seen since the 2018-17 Warriors. But, you know, I'm old enough to remember, Wilds. I'm old enough to remember yesterday's show when the Nets topic was the big three all together finally. And it turns out it's one guy because KD didn't come back and Harden played 4 minutes. And like, I'm very curious if going into the playoffs, if there was a new team and it was a big three of, I'm picking them out of thin air, Giannis, Beal, and Dame, would that be everyone's pick to win the championship? Because of the raw talent, but they've never played together. Because that's essentially what we're going to be seeing. It's, hey guys, yeah, you played together for, you know, in summer ball or in Oklahoma City a decade ago when Harden was the sixth man. And one of the things, Wilds, that we talked about when they traded for Harden is, what's the sacrifice going to be? We still don't know because no one's really had to do it because they haven't all played together.
James Harden
and so people can hold on. Brandon, real quick before I go to Wilds, just so you know, if the guy is playing at a level where he declares himself the MVP, he's not sacrificing. He's doing exactly what he wants.
But Nick,
sacrificing means taking a step back.
When KD was playing, Harden was taking like 15 shots a game. I mean, he did step back. Right, He deferred to Kyrie and KD. It was only a few games because KD got hurt, but he did defer. There's no doubt about it.
I know.
His MVP run has come without KD.
Right. That's my point. He was looking like, oh, he's going to be the third option. He's going to defer. Then
here's what's going to happen.
And now he's looking into the, hold on. Now he's looking into the camera saying, I'm the MVP. And now we totally expect when KD comes back for him to be like, oh, okay, no, I'm happy. I'm happy being the third option. I just want to see it, Brandon, because we don't know that that's going to happen. I just want to see it.
He'll do it. He'll do it.
All right, here we go, Wilds. First off, the whole coaching situation. You keep talking about coaching. Who's sitting next to Coach Steve Nash, the legend? We're talking about Mike D'Antoni. Don't forget about Coach. And then the second thing, here's the thing about KD. This is what's going to happen. KD's going to come back and he's going to be the one to sacrifice. You know this. It doesn't matter who is on the court outside of Michael Jordan. You take Michael Jordan out, if there's a hot hand, everybody's saying he's the hot player. Give him the ball. James Harden is hot right now. Keep the ball in James Harden's hands. So when you talk about who's going to sacrifice when all three are back on the court, it's going to be KD. That's what's going to happen.
Okay, I don't know about Mike D'Antoni. I think Mike D'Antoni will whisper over to Steve Nash like, hey, how about we let Harden take all the shots? I'm like, Steve Nash is like, I guess so. I don't know if that's the plan. Brandon, we make fun of you occasionally because among your many business ventures, you're also supporting several photographers. As every podcaster you do, you have a big photo shoot. But I have a good news for you, buddy. I think you can save some money now because you talked about coming up to New York and, you know, buying all the jerseys for all your brand new Nets players. Don't have to. You already have the jerseys. When you're wearing a T-shirt, or like a sweatshirt, that's KD. He hasn't played. Now you got your Harden jerseys, just a regular. That's the James Harden jersey, just hanging out. And then you have another one of you in a new Nets jersey. That's the Blake Griffin. That's Blake Griffin's official Brooklyn Nets jersey. Nobody's playing. That's it. Oh, that's gonna be that's Kyrie. Sometimes he's hanging out. They don't play, Brandon. I watched the game. One of the most exciting parts of the game was halftime when they showed KD warming up. I was like, oh, he's looking good. He had shorts on. Nope, back to the jeans. I was like, oh, okay. I just think we're living in a fantasy world and we keep saying when everyone's back 100%. When is that going to happen? It's just we keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. He's not a video game character. He's not just his life. Oh, I'm back. I'm 100%. We're not going to see that. We're going to see slow. And we still haven't seen KD out there besides halftime, Brandon. It's time to get nervous, buddy. Although you do save money on the uniforms.
Let me ask you guys a question. What is it about? What are we talking about here? We're talking about championships, right? That's what we're talking about. Every time you step foot in the locker room, it's about winning and losing. And right now, are the Nets winning or are they losing? They're winning. That's the only thing that matters. Yeah. So if this was the Lakers and we're going from the 1 seed then to the 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, what are they, 5 now or 6? Then it's a problem. But we're talking about a Nets team that's winning, Jenna. So until we start slipping, we can't even have this we shouldn't even have this conversation on the show anymore. We're winning.
All right, here's
Nets
a note
Jazz
from
finals.
our statistician, Dusty. Listen, 873 trios this year across the league have played more minutes together than KD, Harden, and Kyrie. Just something to think about. Got to get back to last night's national title game. How did Baylor spoil Gonzaga's pursuit of perfection? Head coach Steve Lavin's going to join us. Talk about that next. First things first.